Hello again, Aries. It's Dadhichi here with your month of July brief horoscope, and you could really say that you're sandwiched between two eclipses. We had that eclipse in your fourth house down here on the 21st of June, which brought all of the attention here to the domestic matters in your life. And then, let's just move this forward, we have the lunar eclipse taking place up here on the 5th of July in your professional zone. So it seemed to be a case of, I guess, divided loyalties, for want of a better word, trying to balance these two different areas of your life. The moon starts its transit this month here in this seventh house of relationships. And that is a rather difficult position because we see the nodal axis. There's the eclipse point just here, right now, just near the nodes. And you can see that from Mars, there's this T-square. So there's a simultaneous square to these important karmic points in your horoscope. And the month starts off with the moon also creating this, what we call a grand square. So there's a powerful play of forces there between those factors, important factors on the cardinal, near the cardinal points of your horoscope. Notice also your ruling planet has moved out of this nebulous 12th house area into its, what we call domicile, its own house, its own sign of Aries here. So that's good news, and it actually lifts your energy levels. It's your physical energy levels, lifts your dynamism, your ability to get things done. Whereas before here, we had that Neptune influence, which I call nebulous Neptune. This whole energetic that I'm talking about, I think, is going to be very powerfully triggered here by the conjunction of the moon. You've also got to understand that in the first week of July, Mars is going to be making that square aspect to where the previous eclipse was. So those domestic issues we can still see here throughout the month of July, while the Sun and Mercury are transiting this area. You notice here two of those previously retrograde planets, Mercury and Venus, have moved forward. Mercury ruling your sixth house of work, third house of communications. Venus ruling your second house of money, seventh house of partnerships. Those planets moving forward is a good thing. You'll notice, however, that just as you thought that career planet Saturn had moved out of this career sector into the 11th house, it's also gone retrograde with Pluto and Jupiter here. Again, that's why I said the eclipse is going to trigger a lot of stuff for you in your professional arena. Now, although you've got some brief respite from these two planets, the quicker moving planets, these long cycled planets of Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are going to impact your work for some time. So I guess the moral of the story here is with Mars, you shouldn't be pushing too hard. That energy level has lifted, as I've said. Here we've got a new moon. I'm sort of jumping around a little bit here, but keep your eye here on the new moon, again in this fourth house. So again, you've got this 4-10 seesaw type effect. I was about to say here, Mars means you're probably pushy, having been obstructed, especially with all these retrograde planets, and Mars in the 12th house, which is a little ineffectual, especially being in the water sign. Then you're probably ready and rearing to go, but need to be very, very careful, very diplomatic in the way you handle things. Towards the end of the month, you see here the placement of the moon in your sixth house, opposite Neptune. Yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful of your health. That's going to happen every month now because it's going to move past this opposition. So you should start heeding the message of that planet when it moves into those opposition aspects, as you see here again with your ruling planet from your seventh house, which is where the lunar cycle started earlier this month. Sun moves to your fifth house, that's favourable. And probably not in this reading, but you'll see as the month progresses, there's going to be a very nice triangular aspect between the Sun and Mars, and that creates what's called a Raja Yoga, or a very powerful, positive influence between two of your best planets, Mars, your ruler, and the Sun, the ruler of this fifth house of creativity, children, so on and so forth. The way to get through some of these domestic issues that we were talking about is light-hearted fun. Mercury is a jocular planet. Here we see some nice imaginative aspects to Neptune there. I better get my glasses on. I can't see what date we're on here. These imaginative aspects are quite good. And you can see that Neptune there is very, very spiritual. Actually, the 12th, the 4th, and the 8th house are all quite spiritual houses, along with the 9th house that most astrologers tend to look at. You notice also at the end of the month, the moon makes a conjunction again, twice in the 1 month, to this south node. Looks like inverted headphones, right? This is the past karma point, and the moon making conjunction with that indicates a very spiritual push in your life. 9th house of spirituality. This Neptune in the 12th house, that's a very long-standing transit that's going to continue to be there for some time. That's also in retrogression. You'll see here at the end of the month. And there we've seen, I'm just wondering whether I was giving you the wrong information there on Saturn transiting out of the, no, it's in the 10th house. They just couldn't fit it there. So what I said about your career stands. A lot of revision necessary this month. The spirituality, I think, is an offset that's going to help you calm your nerves and see things in a clearer light. And some big decisions, I think the theme this month, and I'm going to make a note of that for the heading, is to just try to find balance between your work and home life. So there you go. We've got the monthlies there at astrology.com.au if you want to learn a little bit more about what's going on here. Of course, this is a very brief synopsis. Look at the yearly forecast. We've still got another 5 or 6 months of that to go. So you can get what I've said here today in the context of the year in general. It's been a bit of a write-off this year, but hopefully, fingers crossed, you're safe. You're going to get out of this, and I'll see you here next month. Drop me a line and subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.